Hey, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my weekly photo chats. So today I want to talk about my trip. So I took a road trip from Colorado out to New Jersey via Missouri, Ohio. I went while I was in Philly. I stayed at friends in New Jersey. I went and took a train from Princeton up to New York City for a day, and I took a drive a day down to the Jersey Shore. And that was a fascinating trip. And it's a great example of the more you show up, the more you find. And the more you find, the more you get. And I hadn't been up to New York in some years, and I hadn't been up down to the Jersey Shore in some time. So it was a treat to go out and just go there with a camera and shoot street. And I built a street gallery just for this YouTube channel because there are some photos that I'm using on my Colorado Faces street photography blog, but not everything that I shot in New York is necessarily going to go into that. But there are other photos that I do like from New York, but they're just not going to make it to my street photography blog because I need to be editing really tightly for that. But I put together a gallery link just for this YouTube, so I'll put that in the show notes and take you on a little trip with me because it's fascinating the things you find. There's a photograph in a bathroom, which you'll say, what? There's a photograph in a bathroom? Yeah, that became a street photo for me too. Again, maybe not one that's going to end up in my street gallery, but it's one that is a little bit of a comical take on something. And I'll let you see it in the link to see why I think it's comical. And there are photographs of people in New York, and there are photographs of Jersey Shore, but not just beach, but people on the boardwalk, people riding the rides, people just being a day in the life. It reminds me of, I've never been to Coney Island, and I need to go someday, but it reminds me a little bit of Coney Island, the boardwalk with all of the advertisements and all of the pizza shops and all of the snow cone type buildings. So I really enjoyed shooting both of those. And because I haven't been in a long time, it was kind of going to a new place with fresh eyes, which is a great, great way to work. Because you can't always see when you're at home, you can't see anything. You're so used to seeing everything. But when you go to a new place, it's all new. So I built that gallery. I really wanted to be able to have a way to show you where did my journey take me? And then when I'm coming back, what did I see? You'll see the gallery ends with a very, very fiery photograph that makes an incredible good punctuation mark to my trip. And it was a great, great time just visiting and traveling and getting to see new things. And if you have a chance, like so many times I'd go to Philly and I really wouldn't make the time to go to New York. And I wouldn't take the time to go to the Jersey Shore. If you have a chance to do those side trips while you're traveling, take advantage of that because that's a really great way to show up. And it's so much about showing up. For street, I got what I got in one visit to New York, one visit to the Jersey Shore. If I had gone for a week, I just can't imagine how much comes from those kinds of photographs. And just the opportunity because I'm working. And one thing I'll talk about from that experience is maybe you're not limited to shooting with a 28, 35, or 50 for street. Because there are some photographs in there that I shot with a 70 to 300 millimeter zoom. That zoom that I keep in my car in my cup holder, that is the lightweight 70 to 300 f4.56, which is perfectly fast for outdoor use. And it's terribly sharp. And I ended up using that to photograph in New York and in New Jersey because it had reach. And I didn't have a beach pass. I didn't want to pay for a beach pass when I wasn't really going to go sit on the beach. I was really there to make photographs. And the beach had a beach fare. There's not like the West Coast where there are free beaches. On the East Coast, the beaches are paid beaches. So I used a long lens. And that long lens got me some photos that I would not have been able to get. And again, you can say, well, you can't shoot street with a tell the photo, and I say there are no completely set in stone rules. You just have to make the photograph. And when people see the photograph, they don't say, well, I like it, I just wish it wasn't so telephoto looking. They're looking at the story. It's all about the story. So I hope you get a chance to go to that link, take a look at the photos. If you have a desktop computer, go there instead of on a phone or a tablet, because then the photographs open 2,000 pixels wide. And I get to take you into those spaces. There's a difference between looking at a photograph printed or even on a desktop full screen than looking at it on a phone. Can you imagine looking at a Bresson gallery on a phone? It's like, what's the point? Or an Irving Penn collection on a phone? You need to see those photographs big. And these photographs really work if you look at them big, because you'll see the nuance. Some of them have some humor in them, but you have to be able to see the whole photograph to notice, what am I drawn to? Why am I photographing this? And where's the humor that I'm expecting you to find? On a large screen, you'll see it. And if you have any comments or questions, put them in the show notes, because I'd love to discuss the photographs. All right, that's today's photography talk, taking you on a road trip with me. Hey, if you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. If you can support, hit the Patreon. Thanks to all my supporters. I really appreciate you. And I'll be back next week. We'll talk more photography. As always, here's the good light.